Hello, Internet. It's that time again. Time to read the Bible. All right, so it's a lovely Friday. We're getting a winter storm here in the south, which is freaking people out. But, God is still good and He's going to take care of us. So let's read Genesis chapter 46, verse 1 to 47, verse 31. What we did a generic Jamaican accent before. Let's try a specific Jamaican accent. Let's see if you can recognize it. Here. So Israel set out with all possessions and came to Beersheba and offered sacrifices there to God of his father Isaac. During the night, God spoke to him in a vision. Jacob, Jacob, he called. That's becoming more so. I'm trying to get Hermes. Spoilers, but it's Jamaica. It's hard to stay in that one because it's a Jamaican accent, but it's so high it makes me want to go Indian because they have kind of a similar. Anyway, let me not start over, but we'll just go. Jacob, Jacob, he called. Yes, Jacob answered. I am good, the voice replied. The God of your father. Don't be afraid to go down to Egypt, for I will see to it that you become a great nation there. And I will go down with you to Egypt, and I will bring your descendants back again. But you shall die in Egypt with Joseph at your side. So Jacob left Beersheba and his sons, brought him to Egypt along with their little ones and their wives. In the wagons Pharaoh had provided for them. They brought their livestock too, and all their belongings accumulated in the land of Canaan, and came to Egypt. Jacob and all his children, sons and daughters, grandsons and granddaughters, all his loved ones. Here are the names of his sons, grandchildren who went with him into Egypt. Reuben, the oldest son, Reuben's sons, Hanok, Palu, Hezron, Camri, Simeon and his sons, Jemuel, Jamin, Ohad, Jachin, Zohar, and Shaul. It is very much like Hermes to do lists. You dang bureaucrat. Shaul's mother was a girl from Canaan. Levi and his sons, Joshon, Kohath, Merari, Judah and his sons, Onan, Shelah, Perez, Zerah. However, and Onan died while still in Canaan, before Israel went to Egypt. The sons of Perez were Hezron and Hamul, Ischar and his sons, Tola, Puva, Iob, and Shimron. Zebulun and his sons, Sered, Elon, and Jahil. So these descendants of Jacob and Leah, not including their daughter Dinah, born to Jacob in Padan Aram, were 33 in all. I was trying to remember what rank bureaucrat Hermes was. I believe it was 36, so not 33. I would have been amused by that coincidence. Also accompanying him were Gad and his sons, Ziphion, Hagi, and Shuni, Esbon, Eri, Arodi, and Aredi. Asher and his sons, Imnah, Ishva, and Ishvi, Beriah and a sister, Sarah. Beriah's sons were Heber and Malchir. These 16 persons were the sons of Jacob and Zilpah, the slave girl given to Leah by her father Laban. Also, in the total of Jacob's household were the 14 sons, descendants of Jacob and Rachel, and Joseph and Benjamin. Joseph's sons, born in the land of Egypt, were Manasseh and Ephraim. Their mother was Asenath, the daughter of Potipherah, priest of Heliopolis. I guess they made up, since Potiphar had thrown Joseph in jail at one point. So, uh, Benjamin's sons, Bela, Becher, Ashbel, Gera, Naaman, Ehi, Rosh, Mofim, or Mopim. Sounds a little like Muppet. Mopim and Ard. Also in the group were these 7 sons and descendants of Jacob, and Bilhah, the slave girl given to Rachel by her father Laban, Dan and his son Hushim, Naphtali and his sons Jazil, Guni, Jezer, and Shillem. So the total number of those going to Egypt for this own descendants, not counting the wives of Jacob's sons, was 66. With Joseph and his 2 sons included, this total of Jacob's household there in Egypt totaled 70. Nice round number. Jacob sent Judah on ahead to tell Joseph that they were on the way and would soon arrive in Goshen, which they did. Joseph jumped into his chariot and journeyed to Goshen to meet his father. They fell into each other's arms and went a long while. Then Israel said to Joseph, "Now let me die, for I have seen you again and know you are alive." And Joseph said to his brothers and to all their households, "I'll go and tell Pharaoh that you are here, and that you have come from the land of Canaan to join me. And I will tell him, these men are shepherds. They have brought with them their flocks and herds and everything they own. So when Pharaoh calls you for asks you on your occupation, tell him, we have been shepherds from our youth, as our fathers have for many generations. When you tell him that, he will let you live here in the land of Goshen, for shepherds were despised and hated in other parts of Egypt." Upon their arrival, Joseph went in to see Pharaoh. "My father and brothers are here from Canaan," he reported, "with all their flocks and herds and possessions. They wish to settle in the land of Goshen." He took 5 of his brothers with him and presented him to Pharaoh. Pharaoh asked them, "What is your occupation?" And they replied, "We are shepherds, like our ancestors. We have come here to live here in Egypt, for there is no pasture for our flocks in Canaan. The famine is very bitter there. We request permission to live in the land of Goshen." And Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Choose anywhere you like from them to live. Give them the best land in Egypt, and the land of Goshen will be fine. And if any of them are capable, put them in charge of my flocks too." Then Joseph brought his father Jacob to Pharaoh, and Jacob blessed Pharaoh. "How old are you?" Pharaoh asked him. Jacob replied, "I have lived 130 long hard years, and I am not nearly as old as many of my ancestors." Then Jacob blessed Pharaoh again before he left. So Joseph assigned the best land of Egypt, the land of Ramesses, to his father and brothers, just as Pharaoh had commanded. And Joseph furnished food for them in accordance with the number of their descendants. The famine became worse and worse, so that all the land of Egypt and Canaan was starving. Joseph collected all the money in Egypt and Canaan, and in exchange for grain, he brought the money to Pharaoh's treasure houses. When the people were out of money, they came to Joseph crying again for food. "Our money is gone," they said. I wish I could shout that, but again, I have people here. "Our money is gone." Yeah, hard to do that quiet in the accent without it breaking timber. Anyway. "But give us bread, for why should we die?" "Well then," Joseph replied, "give me your livestock. I will trade you food in exchange." So they brought their cattle to Joseph in exchange for food. Soon all the horses, flocks, herds, and donkeys of Egypt were in Pharaoh's possession. The next year they came again and said, "Our money is gone, and our cattle are yours. Is there nothing left but our bodies and land? Why should we die? Buy us and our land, as we will be serfs to Pharaoh. We will trade ourselves for food. Then we will live, and the land won't be abandoned." So Joseph bought all the land of Egypt and for Pharaoh. All the Egyptians sold him their fields because the famine was so severe, and the land became Pharaoh's. Thus all the people of Egypt became Pharaoh's serfs. The only land he didn't buy was that belonging to the priests, for they were assigned food from Pharaoh and didn't need to sell. Then Joseph said to the people, See, I have bought you from your land for Pharaoh. Here is grain. Go and sow the land, and when you harvest it, a fifth of everything you get belongs to Pharaoh. Keep 4 pots for yourselves to be used for next year's seed, and as food for yourselves and for your households and little ones. You have saved our lives, they said. We will gladly be serfs of Pharaoh. So Joseph made it a law throughout the land of Egypt, and it is still law, that Pharaoh should have as his tax 20% of all crops except those produced on the land owned by the temples. So Israel lived in the land of Goshen in Egypt, and soon the people of Israel began to prosper. There was a veritable population explosion among them. Jacob lived 17 years after his arrival, so he was 147 years old at the time of his death. As the time drew near for him to die, he called for his son Joseph and said to him, Swear to me most solemnly that you will honor this, my last request. Do not bury me in Egypt, but when I am dead, take me out of Egypt and bury me beside my ancestors, as Joseph promised. Oh, and Joseph promised. Swear that you will do it, Joseph insisted. And Joseph did. Soon afterwards, Jacob took to his bed. His zombie bones. That was fun. It's been too long since I've watched Futurama, so I don't know how well I did. That was just kind of like off the top of my head. All right. Next is the New Testament. We'll be reading Matthew chapter 15, verses 1 through 28. I could try Zoidberg. Why not Zoidberg? No, I haven't practiced Zoidberg. I would butcher it. Let me think. Good news, everyone. No, I can't do a professor either. He's got a very unique voice. I'll just do. Uh, I'll just read it. I don't have a voice off the top of my head at the moment. Some Pharisees and other Jewish leaders now arrived from Jerusalem to interview Jesus. Why do your disciples disobey the ancient Jewish traditions? They demanded. For they ignore our ritual of ceremonial hand washing before they eat. He replied. And why do your traditions violate the direct commandments of God? For instance, God's law is honor your father and mother. Anyone who reviles his parents must die. But you say, even if your parents are in need, you may give their support money to the church instead. And so by your man-made rule, you nullify the direct command of God to honor and care for your parents. You hypocrites! Well, did Isaiah prophesy of you? Oh, forgot old English phrasing. We don't really talk like this. Well, did Isaiah prophesy of you? These people say they honor me, but their hearts are far away. Their worship is worthless, for they teach their man-made laws instead of those from God. Then Jesus called to the crowds and said, Listen to what I say, and try to understand. You aren't made unholy by eating non-kosher food. It is what you say and think that makes you unclean. Then the disciples came and told him, You offended the Pharisees by that remark. Jesus replied, Every plant not planted by my Father shall be rooted up, so ignore them. They are blind guides leading the blind, and both will fall into a ditch. Jesus was pissed. Then Peter asked Jesus to explain what he meant when he said that people are not defiled by non-kosher food. Don't you understand? Jesus asked him. Don't you see that anything you eat passes through the digestive tract and out again? But evil words come from the evil heart and defile a man who says them. For from the heart come For from the heart come evil thoughts, murder, adultery, fornication, theft, lying, and slander. These are what defile, but there is no spiritual defilement from eating without first going through the ritual of ceremonial hand washing. Jesus then left that part of the country and walked the 50 miles to Tyre and Sidon. A woman from Canaan who was living there came to him, pleading, "Have mercy on me, O Lord, King David's son." I said that horribly. Let me do that again. "Have mercy on me, O Lord, King David's son, for my daughter has a demon within her, and it torments her constantly." But Jesus gave her no reply, not even a word. Then his disciples urged him to send her away. "Tell her to get going," they said, "for she is bothering us with all her begging." Then he said to the woman, "I was sent to help the Jews, the lost sheep of Israel, not the Gentiles." But she came and worshipped him and pled again, "Sir, help me." "It doesn't seem right to take bread from the children and throw it to the dogs," he said. "Yes, it is," she replied, "for even the puppies beneath the table are permitted to eat the crumbs that fall." "Woman," Jesus told her, "your faith is large, and your request is granted." And her daughter was healed right then. Uh, let's see. I feel like there's some notes I should mention here because, like, I guess the main thing is I get so tired of all the people saying, "Well, this is the good food, this is the bad food, this is the good food." Well, you can eat whatever you need, whatever you want. It's in terms of like moral upstandingness. There's kosher, non-kosher. None of the like Old Testament eating rules apply to us. Jesus himself said it right here. You know, I know my mom gets into all of her diets and all of her random. Well, maybe if we do this biblical diet, maybe if we do this trend on the internet, it just you get to know it. And it's always kind of interesting to see Jesus being outside of what we think of Jesus, because you always think of Jesus as like blessings to you, my child. Calm and empathetic and gentle and all that. But he was angry at the Pharisees, and well, that's how I interpreted this particular reading. I know he gets angry later, but at some other things. But for this, it felt like he was upset, like just frustrated with them. Like, come on, you're just leading the blind into a ditch. You're killing me. You're killing me, Smalls. Um, and then also when he's like dismissive of this random woman who, like, I don't know if Jesus was actually being dismissive or if this was just to draw out her faith and show the disciples. It's hard to say because sometimes Jesus does like not want to do miracles. Like, it's not in Matthew apparently because it would have happened by now, but I know chronologically speaking, like his first miracle is turning water to wine at at a wedding that his part of his family, like I don't remember who it is, like his mom knows him or something. Not irrelevant. But he didn't want to do it. His mother, Mary, had to repeatedly tell him, "You can fix this. Do it." And he's like, "I don't want to. It's not important." And she's like, "Jesus, this is your family. Do this nice thing for them." I don't remember the exact wording, so I'm paraphrasing. He's like, and I can almost see him going, "Ah, fine, I'll do a miracle." Just that little bit of like resistance and not wanting to just fix everything right away. So he's not like, I know a couple of people who are very like, they have to help. Like it is their innate need. If something is wrong, they have to try and fix it. I'm not like that. Um, for better or worse. And it seems like Jesus wasn't either. He had a mission and he was going to help people and preach his news, the good news of himself coming and dying and, the kingdom of heaven and all that. but he wasn't necessarily trying to fix every problem everywhere he went. He was letting people come to him. And even then, he was kind of like prioritizing, It seems. I'm obviously, I don't know Jesus's mind, but it's just kind of interesting. And then, like I was saying, I don't know if this woman legitimately changed his mind to where he wasn't going to help her and then he was, or if this was some kind of divine test or example. Either way, it's interesting just seeing him act in that manner. Anyway, I've commented enough, and I can't think of anything else interesting. So, moving on to Psalms. This one will be chapter 19, verse 1 through 14. Um, let's see here. Is there any accent that I enjoyed? Mm, I don't have the energy to do the one that came to mind. Um, let's see. Oh well, we'll just do kind of a generic. The heavens are telling the glory of God. They are marvelous display of his craftsmanship. Day and night they keep on telling about God. Without a sound or word, silent in the skies, their message reaches out to all the world. The sun lives in the heavens where God placed it, and moves out across the skies as radiant as a bridegroom going to his wedding, or as joyous as an athlete looking forward to a race. The sun crosses the heavens from the end to end, and nothing can hide from its heat. God's laws are perfect. They protect us, make us wise, and give us joy and light. God's laws are pure, eternal, just. They are more desirable than gold. They are sweeter than honey dripping from a honeycomb. For they warn us away from harm and give success to those who obey them. But how can I ever know what sins are lurking in my heart? Cleanse me from these hidden faults, and keep me from deliberate wrongs. Help me to stop doing them. Only then can I be free of guilt and innocent of some great crime. May my spoken words and unspoken thoughts be pleasing even to you, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. I enjoyed that. Let's see. Finally, for today, we have Proverbs chapter 4, verse 14 through 19. Don't do as the wicked do. Avoid their haunts. Turn away. Go somewhere else, for evil men can't sleep until they've done their evil deed for the day. They can't rest unless they cause someone to stumble and fall. They eat and drink wickedness and violence. But the good man walks along in ever brightening light of God's favor. The dawn gives way to the morning splendor, while the evil man gropes and stumbles in the dark. All right. Thank you again for listening, and I hope you got something out of this session. And as always, the most important thing, God bless.